Today I'm making butter. You can see I've started with some fresh cream in my KitchenAid mixer. I like to put saran wrap all the way around the bowl because it does get very sloshy as you're whipping. Here you can see that the cream has become whipped cream. It's very pale and it is thickening, but this is definitely not butter yet. So we're going to keep whipping it for about 10 to 15 minutes at somewhere between speeds 4 and 6 on the KitchenAid mixer, and it will eventually break and the butter fat will separate from the buttermilk, and we'll see that here in just a few moments. You can see this has been a few minutes and the cream has gotten much more yellow and firm around the edges of the bowl. This is when it's getting close. You will start to feel like, oh my gosh, this has whipped forever. Is this ever going to happen? And that's when we're at about this point. So keep going. It will turn to butter eventually. Here is where I sometimes turn it down to 4. If you whip it on too fast, it will just cream the butter and not actually come together. Okay, I've pulled back the plastic wrap now, which can be dangerous because this is still quite sloshy. So when you make it, leave the plastic wrap on. When I stop talking, you will hear the sloshing, and that is when you know it is getting close. I'm upping the speed here just a little bit to get it to come together. You really want to stay between 4 and 6 speed. And you just really have to eyeball it, and that just takes practice. So watch how it'll come together here in just a minute. We'll check. I'm going to slow this machine down. We're going to take a look and see how it looks. It's not quite fully come together, and you'll see the difference in a minute. So we're going to turn it back on for just a little bit. You can really hear a difference when the butter is fully starting to separate from the buttermilk. It starts sloshing like crazy, and we'll see here in a minute when I raise it up that it is now fully coming together into butter. So we'll raise up the whisk attachment, and you'll see it's all clumped around the whisk. There will still be a lot of butter down in the buttermilk in the bowl, and we'll fish that out here in just a second. So here you can see it all clumped on the whisk, and we'll use a spatula to get all the butter off the whisk attachment and put it into a bowl. Then I reach my hand into the bowl and I squeeze out as much buttermilk as I can from the butter. You can see here I've shaped it into a ball. We really have to rinse it because any buttermilk left in the butter will cause it to spoil faster. So you're going to rinse it under cold water. If you want to add salt to your butter, I add a teaspoon of salt for every ½ pound of butter, and I just mix it in and shape it back into a ball. I use an empty mini loaf pan with saran wrap to shape my butter. Put it on my scale, 0 at the scale, and measure it out into ½ pound increments, which is the same as 2 sticks of butter. You just spread it out evenly, dab off any of the buttermilk left behind, and you've got your clean butter ready to go in the fridge. I stack mine up depending on how many I've made that day, and here you can see my gorgeous butter ready to be used. I make salted and unsalted, and it's perfect.